Welcome back, everybody. We're back together here with another video. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of the 1980s, 1984's Ghostbusters. And in Ghostbusters, there was actually a character in that movie, Winston Zeddemore, played by Ernie Hudson, who is a black man. Now, of course, we all know that the other Ghostbusters were actually white, right? Now, check this out. Ernie Hudson, because he's actually been in the newer Ghostbusters movies. I haven't seen them. Have you?
No.
I haven't seen them. There's actually a new one that came out too. Rhodes told me about it. He actually said it was pretty good. So haven't seen it though, but maybe I'll see it. But you know, we're living in the woke times in Hollywood, and with Ernie Hudson being black, they're going to ask him about, I guess, potential racism in a 1984 movie. Now, when I watch the 1984 movie, we're going back 40 years. Racism never came to my head. Did it come in your head?
Mm-mm.
I'm actually stunned, but I guess I shouldn't be stunned now, considering the times we're living in. Because this character had a reduced role in that movie, was it about race? And he said no, it wasn't about it. Actually, you know what? At that time, Bill Murray was and still is a much bigger star than Ernie Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you actually saw Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson walking down the street, which one would you would actually recognize? Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Easily. Now, originally, Eddie Murphy was actually supposed to play the role of Winston Zeddemore. And the role was actually much bigger. I didn't know that Eddie Murphy was actually cast as Winston in that movie. That would have been really, really funny.
Yeah, because Eddie Murphy is also a big star.
Yeah, he was already a big star at that time. Remember, because Dan Aykroyd was in the Ghostbusters too. Remember him and Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy were trading places together.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to screen time, they had like equal screen time because they were both stars of the movie. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy is so funny. And Dan Aykroyd is also funny as well. This doesn't make any sense. Ernie Hudson, great Ghostbusters, but he's not a movie star. He's not bigger than Bill Murray. So they revamped the script. And originally he was supposed to come in earlier in the movie. He went to Ivan Reitman and asked him if he can actually change it, get more screen time. He said no. He's like, okay. And at that time, nobody knew who Ernie Hudson was. And like in a lot of cases, you know, this is his break. This is what he's known for. He is known for Ghostbusters. And that set up his career.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, he's a struggling actor.
I guess in the entertainment industry, the big star, they get more role because audience will see the big star first who's in the movie, I guess.
Well, you got to realize this also. Everybody has a starting point.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows Chris Rock right now. Of course, Will Smith slapped him.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the first movie he was actually in?
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you remember or not, but he was in an Eddie Murphy movie, Beverly Hills Cop Part 2. He was the valet. Remember at I think it was the Playboy Mansion? Eddie Murphy rolls up in that big truck and Chris Rock is there with a Jerry curl. That was his first role.
But
right
I
there.
don't remember
Yeah,
him. I'm more focused on Eddie Murphy when I...
Yeah.
So...
But also Cuba Gooding Jr. also as well. His first movie was the Eddie Murphy movie. And of course, everybody knows Cuba Gooding Jr. now. Mm-hmm. But he was the kid in the barbershop in Coming to America that was getting his hair cut. He didn't have any lines. That was his first movie. That's a starting point for everybody.
It is, but when I see those kind of movie, I usually see Eddie Murphy as the main character.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he has more role to play,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But down here in this article here, Ernie Hudson was actually giving an interview. He was talking about how his character actually had an Air Force. He was an Air Force major. But of course, his screen time is cut back. But look here. It says here, unfortunately, despite having agreed to his reduced rate under the assumption that he would have played the original version of Zedmore, the actor noted that, quote, the night before filming begins, however, I get this new script and it was shocking. The character was gone. Instead of coming in at the very beginning of the movie, like page 8, the character comes in on page 68 after Ghostbusters were established. His elaborate background was all gone, replaced by me walking in and saying, quote, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say. So that was pretty devastating. So he wasn't necessarily happy about it, but
I wouldn't be happy too.
No, but look here. You got to realize actors don't make a lot of money, especially when they're unknown.
Well, that's true.
Look here. He says, I see this differently now. And I don't mean any kind of animosity or anything towards anyone. Certainly not towards Ivan or the guys. I was a single dad and we were struggling to kind of hold on and pay the rent. I still needed to do this job. 30 years later, I look back at the movie and it works very well the way it is. I think the character works with what he has to work with. But I've always felt like, man, if I could have played that original character. Okay, that's fine. But he says the movie is fine the way it is. And this interviewer here asked him about whether he thought racism played a role in the shrinking of his role. Because, he was black. This is what he says, quote, being a person of African descent anywhere in the world, we're all just learning how to live together and get along together and realize that we're all connected, said Hudson. And it's very tempting sometimes to blame anything that doesn't work in your life on racism. But there are a lot of things that play into it. It's not quite that simple. We can say it's a racial thing, but I think if Eddie Murphy had played the role I played, he would have been paid very well. Of course he would, because he's Eddie Murphy.
I guess in the industry, as I said, I believe that if it's Eddie Murphy, yes, he's a big star. They will pay him a lot more, I guess.
That's what he's saying right here. He says, I think studios are in the business of making money, and they pay what they feel they have to do. Yeah, no doubt Eddie Murphy would have made more money because Eddie Murphy was a big star. He'd already done Trading Places at that point. I believe 48 Hours also as well. This is 1984. Think did Beverly Hills Cop come out then? Yeah, I think it did. I think 1983 or 84 Beverly Hills Cop came out.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, he was a bit star. So yeah, he was going to make more money. So I'm glad that he didn't play the race card on this. So anything else you want to add to this?
Nah.
Well, we appreciate everybody listening. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can support us by becoming a channel member or dropping a super thanks here on this video, or also getting the merch. The link is in right below this video. So until then, we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Be safe.
Goodbye.